yeah, who'd you think I was? She goes, I'll be honest with you. And she kind of looks up at me and she goes, I thought you were homeless. I'm wearing sweatpants and a sweatshirt. And so I'm internalizing this, and I didn't say it out loud, but I'm like,
they're the liberal rednecks. They like cornbread and butt sex. They care way too much, but don't give a fuck. They're the liberal rednecks that makes some people upset, but they got 3 big old dicks that you can suck.
Yeah, Trae, we can hear you breathe.
That's all right. I'll take care of it.
It's washing over you. It's suddenly melting into something. How'd it go?
Yeah. I can feel you breathe. It's washing over me, and suddenly I'm melting into you.
Is that
the slow and steady rush.
Something of your
camel
touch.
crush.
Not your butt. Yeah.
Yeah. All that.
Yeah. So what's going on?
Slow and steady rush. I smoke a camel crush.
God damn it. I was just fucking sitting here like fighting the urge to go get a drink because we were recording. I was like, I'm good. That's the devil talking. And then we start singing 90s country, like my biggest tick.
It is fate, you know.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Hill making you want to like shotgun a beer.
Well, she makes me want to.
Let's fucking go, boys.
I mean, kind of. Not like the song, but just like the idea. You know what I mean? Like, because I think of Faith Hill, I immediately think of Tim McGraw, and then I'm like, I got a barbecue stain on my white t-shirt, and I'm like, fuck it, let's go watch the Braves, get fucking drunk.
Mm-hmm.
I am an alcoholic. I'm finally ready to say it.
All these years later, 8 years later. But I don't know. I know it's a hell of a thing for me to say to you, but like, full bore alcoholic. I mean,
no, I'm not. I don't have the
know better. What? Why can't you say it?
No.
What is it about your life that makes you unable to speak truth to power right here? It's like, can black people say the N-word, Trae? Can black people say the N-word, Trae?
What I mean is, I've always been the one talking about how he hits and drinks and whatever, showing out, right? And now I'm like, no, you ain't that bad.
I'm mentally.
Normally, I'm going the other way.
Fortunately,
I guess that's not true.
Fortunately, it's not.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood real quick. Let me just say this. I thought you were backpedaling on calling him an alcoholic. You're like backpedaling on saying, you ain't that bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
my apologies.
Yeah.
My apologies to the podcast.
The thing is, what I'm about to say is what I say every time. I'm really not that bad, but I say it so much that I'm like, fuck, quit saying it. You know what I mean? Because like I go long.
But he just can't quit saying it. He goes weeks without saying it. Then he says it 4, 5, 6 days in a row.
Things that just happen just makes him want to say it. Certain triggers.
Say it.
Yeah,
it's horrible, but like it's dude. Like, I'm starting to get the fucking give it to me, where I never got to give it to me. I usually was just like, it would hit to drink, but now I'm just like, it would hit real fucking hard to drink.
Are you giving in to the give it to me?
No.
Total no? Or
yeah, no.
Like, no, but yeah.
Well, no, I had a couple drinks for the Derby, but I quit.
Right. Saturday. Yeah, right.
A couple glasses of whiskey, or
no, I had one glass of whiskey and then another like little whatever their fucking specialty cocktail bullshit was, and I quit. And I have been able to do. My point is though, it's that I know I can at any time, and I'm more aware of that than ever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've always been, because of our job, and especially because I'm like, I've always been able to drink whenever I want, but I never thought about it. I find myself thinking about becoming bathrobe guy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I find myself being like, why not? Who gives a fuck? You're here. You don't even have to drive.
Right. Yeah. You said their specialty cocktail. I thought you had like a little family get together thing to watch the Derby. You went somewhere?
It was a big party for our friend's 80th birthday, and it coincided with the Derby, and he's actually from Kentucky and like loves all that shit. So, it was a big fucking party.
You have an 80-year-old friend?
Yeah.
Of course he does. That don't shock me at all.
Of course.
No, it doesn't shock me either. I wanted to hear about him, though.
You would not know that he's 80. It's fucking wild. Whereas like so many of my older friends, they're in their 50s and you would think they were 90, but he's 80, and like people are fucking, now I'm not going to say his name, obviously. I don't want to, because they're a very private
give
family.
You 10 minutes. You'll tell everybody his nickname, which includes the street he lives on.
I'm not drunk. Honestly, I started
You mean
thinking
116 Pleasant Valley, Bill?
But see, here's the thing.
The White House?
I doxed 2 mentally challenged people over the past couple of weeks. I was drunk both times. That's what I do when I drink. I hurt people. You know what I mean?
But, yeah. But wait, hold up. You just said you was off it.
I am. That's why I'm saying I'm not going to do it. You said give him 10 minutes.
But that was recently. Trae and I are trying to establish. I ain't been drunk
in a week.
Okay, a week. No, that's fine.
Saturday,
a week's good.
48 hours ago.
A week is good. I'm not trying to shit on you. I'm trying to understand.
But it's not a week. It's 48 hours.
Thank you.
I didn't get drunk then. That don't count.
You're not counting it because it's the Derby and it was a party.
But I didn't get drunk. I could still drive.
If you're an alcoholic, getting drunk is not really a good. Because did you literally drink a highball full of straight whiskey?
No. It was mixed with. They had an Arnold Palmer but whiskey situation. It was whiskey and a little bit of lemonade, and they was trying to put mint in my shit, and I was like, dude, fuck that. And I love mint, but mint and whiskey is so, and everybody was like, it's the Derby, you gotta have one. I was like, because there's horses, I have to drink something I hate? That makes no fucking sense. Like, I had a Larry David moment.
It's not meant for whiskey. I think, so it's been a week since you've been drunk, and 2-3 days since I don't know, honestly, I don't even know how to make this funny.
By the way, and when I say I got drunk, I only had 6 drinks. I didn't get blackout. I haven't been blackout in a long fucking time. I just get we do a podcast. I have 5 to 6 to 7 drinks, and I just get too fucking loose. I just get too fucking loose, dude. And you don't know what I like when I'm too loose. It's fucking dangerous.
All right. I've been trying to figure out how I want to say what I want to say, and I think I've figured it out. I mean this in the most This is why I don't think you're an alcoholic. I don't care about any of this. Does that make sense?
Yeah. You're not.
If I was worried about Corey, I'd be all right, when? But I'm just like, I don't. Why are we talking about
I did it,
but I was like, was it a glass? Fuck all that. No, it's fine.
My bottom story is I tweeted at Mike Huckabee. You know what I mean? That's it. It's nothing big time. I'm just all I'm saying is.
Yeah, you should drink more, honestly.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I said. I'm thinking about turning into bathrobe guy. And you kind of convinced me to do it. So I appreciate it. Who's our sponsor this week? BetterHelp?
Bathtub gin.
But,
that's a girl I dated.
I want to hear a little bit more about this party situation because I've said before, so usually Christmas time after our zany shows, whatever, me and Katie and the boys go to Waynesboro where her parents live, and we stay there for a few days. So it's Christmas time at grandma's, and there's all the cousins, all the kids, all the cousins, nieces, and nephews and stuff are there in matching pajamas and shit. And we're making gingerbread houses and all this it's real holiday-y, and it's so wholesome. Yeah. And I genuinely love it because, and I've started to say this to Paige. That shit. I started to say this to Paige last time I saw her in person. And before I could finish, she was like, because that's what an actual fucking family does. Right. And I was like, yes, exactly. She's like, yeah, Sam must be nice, whatever. But but yeah, because broken home shit. This is Hallmark movie family Christmas type stuff. It's the country ass version of it, but still it's that. And it really hits for me. I feel a Walmart similar sort of way when I hear Cho talk about all the white people get-togethers that he be going to where they have drinks they made special for it. And it's all these couples in this town. And they all know each other. And we're all here to hit because this feller's 80. And it's it's just it's the type of thing that's I'm aware that people do that. But I think you are the only person I know who actually does those things or lives that life.
Okay. So, this is interesting because I don't think it's broken home stuff because my folks don't do any of that type. Everything my folks do is church related. Right. So there are some the pastor's 50th anniversary, they may go to the church and there'll be food and, someone might catch the spirit and get a guitar out and fellowship. Yeah. Right. But Andy's family is like this. They have, and it's generational too. Perfect example. They all went to a music recital yesterday which that's normal. I'm sure if your kids had a music recital, you'd go, Trae, and maybe the grandparents would go too.
Yesterday.
But
James had one, it hit.
But this music recital, a few people in their church had a little girl in it. Afterwards, some of the parents all went out to eat together. It's a cultural thing. Maybe that's a bad example because everyone will do stuff with their kids. But like, all right, Jim and Angela's 50th wedding anniversary. They did a big thing here at the property. They did send out some invites, but they also just like told the church and told other people. There were like fucking 200 people here, dog, dressed up in like suits and shit. And it was like, well, perfect example. My mom and dad were invited. They went to the ceremony because mom felt like she needed to, but they had no interest in that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was weird. Not weird. That's not the word. It was alien to them too.
Well, are they drinking at these things, or they're churchy too?
No, the Presbyterians be drinking, dog, and they be making fun of Baptists.
That to me is like the main thing I think of. We've talked about, like, I feel like generally growing up in the South, in my experience, even people who had families who'd have get-togethers and other members and stuff, even people that had drunks in their families, like hell, I did. But when they all got together, and my family wasn't at all religious, but it's like you just didn't drink in front of Meemaw. We've talked about this before, but it's just like families don't drink together because you got Meemaw and it don't hit for her or whatever the case.
Or you end up fist fighting in the street. Talking about the time your uncle fucked your cousin.
I know Cho deals with that part, and I would like to talk about that part a little bit, but it's like that type of shit in the Midwest and stuff. I feel like everybody's getting drunk with their Meemaw. We talked with Dan Van Kirk about this a little bit, but like, Corey kind of be doing all that despite living in rural North Georgia, and I just find it a little.
I think it's class.
Well, no, hold on. First off, let me say this: does it help for me to say that I don't enjoy it at all? And I don't mind. And by the way,
I personally am not mad at you.
I wouldn't say
I'm not either.
I wouldn't say homie's name earlier, but this I'm fine saying because
but it's social security number.
But I'm saying everyone knows this about me. Like everyone at that party knew that I didn't want to be there. Like it's a running joke. And like the only thing that I don't like about having a kid is that now I have to go to these things because Amber's going to go and she's going to take Bane, and I just feel like an ass if I don't go. Because like they're all seeing me ever since like we've had Bane, that I've been reacclimated into Chickamauga society, and like everyone knew. Like people even stopped inviting me, and it was so great because they would always like, well, no, you're going to come, but you know. And I was like, dude, I'm serious. You don't have to go out of your way to invite. I'm not fucking coming to your house. I love you. If you want to stop by my house on Sunday, I'll be on the porch. I'm not coming. And it's not that I don't like y'all. I don't like doing shit. I do not like doing shit. I really don't. So again, by the way, that's why I only had a couple drinks. I had them right when I got there because this is my deal with Amber is I'll go with you. But if we're taking Bane, that means we both can't get hammered drunk. Right. And I will stay sober and stay there for a couple hours, and then the second Bane cries, I get to leave, and no one can give me shit because he has to go, right?
Yeah, they're great for that. Kids are great
I was like, he has to go, and I know that you want to stay and get drunk, so I'll fall on that sword, even though it's not really me falling on a sword because I don't want to be there. So like, that's how it is, and everybody knows I'm just sitting there counting the minutes until Bane gets tired. So like, it don't hit for me. And also, when I was younger, this is very new for my family to go get drunk with other people.
I was about to ask that. Like, are your parents without you and Amber? Are they going to their own middle-aged soirees? And
stuff? I mean, he's there. Like, we're friends with his daughter, right? His daughter's like my age, the 80-year-old guy.
80-year-old dude.
It's like Theo shit, yeah. And, well, no, not quite Theo shit, because I think Theo's dad was like 80 when he was born or something. But anyways, my mom would go out with them and they'll have wine and stuff like that. But this was like, well, our parents are all friends with him and we're all so it's like a dual party. It's like, hey, the kids are going to enjoy this too. He's got a great house to party at. Now, granted, it's not all fun because we do sit there for a long time at the beginning of the party and talk about who's died since we had the last one, who can't come because they're either on probation or so off the shit that they can't even be around it. Yeah, whatever, all that shit. But like when I was, younger, we didn't do anything with my family because my family, my immediate family we did, but we didn't do anything with my dad's side of the family or my mom's because they were all pieces of shit. and it would go the punchy way, you know. So we just kind of kicked it with the church and stuff like that. But like only in recent years was it like my mom, because used to it was like, I don't know, we wouldn't drink in front of mom because it would be weird. And when she'd go out, but now she's loose and like we're all going to the same parties and it's fine. But that's like, you know, in my late 20s to early 30s is when that fucking started.
Right. So but I'm assuming these people that hosted it, did they have it catered? Was it a potluck?
No, it was like a potluck situation. I think there was a couple things that were catered, but still everybody was bringing dips. You know what I mean?
The specialty cocktail is really the only. See, you said that, and that's sort of what that's what.
Was there a bartender?
Someone just put it in a pitcher. You know what I mean?
Okay, all right. Yeah. You said I knew you was at somebody's house, and you said that I had a couple of their specialty cocktails they had, and that made me go like, you know, what kind of is this?
Like my fucking sister-in-law got hammered and put some shit in a pitcher and was like, this is Derby Dew. You know what I mean? So that. But yeah. Okay. But I mean, it was fun as fuck, I guess, for a little bit. Like it is. I like being there for like 30 minutes. Catch up with everybody. See Chief smoke a bowl. You know, he was running around farting, blaming it on everybody. That was pretty hilarious. But dude, and again, I don't mind saying this because they know who they are. It's nothing. These are the same people my whole life who like always accuse me of like bringing up politics and shit. And I'm like, I don't say nothing. Dude, there's the whole time I'm just trying to watch the fucking Derby. They're passing around their phone because there's a new fucking Biden meme or something on it and just being insane. And nobody will stop talking about woke shit while they're saying all the stuff that they can't say anymore, which was hitting for me, you know, but like they won't like, they are so criminally obsessed with all this shit that I'm like, is this a good time for you? Like, are y'all having a good time? Cause like, I'm supposedly the one that's trying to keep you from having a good time and y'all are bumming me out. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That reminds me of my Scott County report.
Okay.
Yeah, I was actually I was going to segue into a Scott County, ask you for a Scott County report off of that because I was going to ask you how's that part's been going for you, if you've been having any of that.
Yes, that for sure. Before I get into that, I just want to tag onto that last convo that there is a difference I've noticed. So I'm like involved in this and invited to these things, and it's easier for me to say no because I didn't grow up here. Like I didn't go to that fucking recital. Right. You know, it's like, yeah, y'all have fun. But they're like catering versus not, and how much catering that changes things. How do I say it? Like
on whether you'd go or not?
No, like just in terms of the experience as like, and how alien it is to me. It is odd for me to see a catered non-wedding situation
I'm the
in
same
a
way.
house.
For sure.
Like one time there was a catered like house party in Boston and I talked about it for 4 fucking years. It was the greatest night of my life.
I didn't, I'm not kidding. I'm not making this.
And by the way, it's baller shit. We got to start doing it, Trae.
Right. It had never occurred to me until I moved out here. I went to a couple like big to-dos, like fundraiser things where people were dressed up. And of course they'd have hors d'oeuvres and shit. And I knew that was a thing, but I'm talking about like,
people do it for Thanksgiving out there.
I went to a birthday party, right, of this like Hollywood producer,
right,
with like writers and producers and stuff there. Just a birthday party at their house. And they had a bartender fully catered. They invited people's kids because they had a pool. They hired a lifeguard for the pool. So you could just leave your kids in the pool and they got a professional lifeguard there. And like all of that was wild, of course. But even the food part, I literally had never thought before. I was like, oh, you can hire people to make all the food when you have parties.
You can make it.
I'd never thought of that before. They had like the caterers like in the kitchen fucking whipping shit up for people and stuff. And it was...
You'll know when I've made it because it'll be Tuesday and I'll be fucking FaceTiming y'all with just my shit catered just for me to hang out by myself.
Right. I mean, yeah, it does hit. I love a potluck and I like to make
me
shit.
too.
I love to take things to a potluck and see how it goes. You know, when you take
people,
something and it all gets hooked up, it all gets in, you're like, I smashed that. You know, that stuff hits for me.
Especially when it's people you know, because like they have their like signature dish that you look forward to. You're like, oh, fucking, you know, Renee's going to make them cheddar biscuits she always makes. And, you know, oh, her green beans are fire. And like, well, you know, stay away from that potato salad. But there's another one, you know, over here. Yeah, I prefer a potluck, and also because I do like making food. I get it. That's probably my favorite part of a party is making the food before. Once I get there, I hate it. I'm like, fuck this. But I'm like, here, look at the hits that I made.
I also enjoy it. Drew, I want to ask you a question about, he just made me think of something, a story of his that I know about potluck. So I don't think you've heard it. I want your perspective on it. He's like, oh, stay away from that potato salad, right? I don't remember the specifics of who it was, but some person in Corey's extended family or somebody, they'd have potlucks or whatever. And like, no, excuse me, not a potluck. They'd make dinner for people, right? And it'd be some kind of chicken casserole or something like that. And Corey's mom would bake her own special chicken casserole and bring it to this dinner because that's how much that other bitch's chicken casserole didn't hit for her or whatever.
It was
he told me that, and I was like, bro, if somebody did that to me, like to my chicken casserole, I would be furious, dude. Like, I'd be talking to Katie about that for days.
It's a little different.
That's part of the goal when you do that, is to get them talking about it for days. It's not just about wanting to eat your own chicken casserole.
Not that my mom's less of a bitch. I mean, but it should be noted that it was like Thanksgiving, like so it was like a lot. There was going to be a lot of food, so I think she could like hide under the like, we just wanted there to be enough. You know what I mean? But like, but her goal was exactly that. You know what I mean?
Dude,
yeah.
I wish I'd have been there. I'd have called her out. I was like, oh, was that your goal?
Well, I can tell you one thing. You'd have fucking ate her chicken casserole more than the other bitches.
100% would have been eating her chicken casserole while I made fun of the other lady to your mom.
Yeah. That would have hit for my mom so hard. She
I know.
Probably jacked you off.
She would have pretended like she was embarrassed, and I would have been, all right, buddy. Women like your mom are so easy for me. I'm sorry, but it's just fucking true. I like a fucking bitchy, good-hearted woman, dude. I cut right through the middle of them.
I used to clean up with women like your mom, too. I get it.
I guarantee it, son.
You know what I mean? They all want to take care of me, Drew. I don't know what it is.
And the other ones want to be taken care of and told what to do.
Like, I can fix him, but even if I can't, he's funny, hell.
Everybody that's okay with getting stabbed can clean up with women like my mom. So
Someone needs to clean up after your mom, I think.
Your mom's clean. Finally.
Report.
Yes. 2 reports that relate to what we've been talking about. One is Angela went to a funeral. And
That's
she
a Tom
came
Waits
back.
song. You want to pull it up?
Yeah, she came back with with plates for me and Andy. We'd been working all day. And I don't know who made this fucking macaroni, dog. But when I tell you top 3 of my life,
wow,
every single part of it was perfect. Noodles cooked perfectly, cheese both, not soupy but soft, and then with the chunks in it. I literally said to Angela, half joking but not really, was there a black lady at this funeral?
Yeah.
And I swear to God, Angela, of all people, goes, "Are you asking me that because of that macaroni?"
Let me know when someone related to her dies.
Right.
This was like hours later too. Like, you ate it after hours after it's been prepared.
I mean, I did have to reheat it. It was probably an hour later.
Because macaroni, dude, I love macaroni and cheese like a motherfucker. It never hits quite as hard as when it's like straight up fresh, even if you got to reheat it. So if you had to reheat that and it still hit that hard, then it.
I like the first reheat, but I'll understand what you're saying. I don't mind the first reheat. You know what, Trae? You might be onto something. It might have been too moist, too soupy-ish on the first eat, based on what I experienced. Yeah. But man, I mean, it was unbelievable. The food was really good.
They might hit so hard that they planned for that. You know what I mean? Because the thing is, you ate it an hour after it was gotten at the funeral. They made it way before
hours before that.
They made it hours before then. And I know that whenever I have to make like pimento cheese, especially for like a group, and it's like Amber's like, I got this thing tomorrow. Can you make it? And I'm like, fuck, I'll have to make it tonight. Or sometimes it's like, God damn it, I can make it 2 nights before. I will make it a little extra runny-ish because I know it's going to set, and it always be due.
And it'll dry.
Now, the thing about macaroni and cheese is, if you just reheat it, if you reheat it in the microwave, it's probably not going to hit as hard. But like, I have a 2-method system of how to reheat the macaroni, and you remove the top part, which is the baked part, cheese. You know what I mean? You remove that and you set that aside, and then you take the noodles and you put them in the pan with a little butter and all, and maybe a touch more cream to reconstitute it or whatever. Then while you're doing that, then you do that, then you put that back in the bowl and you put the baked cheese part on top of it and you brush that with some butter and then you dollop just a little bit more cheese and you just broil it for like 4 minutes. Tastes better than when you got it. Now, most people aren't going through this process.
Shoved it into my mouth hole.
Yeah, I'm just saying it can be done.
I'm not even sure I microwaved it in retrospect.
Yeah, I like cold macaroni and cheese.
It was unbelievable. And it's all everybody was talking about at the funeral, too, so it wasn't just me. They were like, he was
not the person who died or
he OD'd. He OD'd. Fuck him, dude. And by the way, that was a joke, but he did.
Yeah,
so,
right.
No, he did. So we got OD deaths and fire macaroni and cheese. That's report number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Report number 2, my nephew came up to hang out with me. We went to Walmart. Nefcho. I had to go get some stuff. He will be furious at me for saying this, but he got dumped like 3 times by the same girl in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Like he really had to learn that lesson a few times.
Say, who among us, dog?
Yeah, right.
But anyway, we went to Walmart and he's Nefcho. We're at the Oneida Walmart. This is one.
Oneida?
Yeah.
Oneida.
We are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 towns with at least a junior high school away from Sunbright. This is 35 miles from where he grew up. And he's like, man, I probably run into somebody I know in here, dude. They kind of know me around here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, okay, buddy. Fucking twice.
Yeah.
We're walking through. First, I think it was just like a kid who's from his school, but there's not a lot of Walmarts in our area or something.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then it was this lady who was his aunt. And I knew I recognized her, but I swear I don't think I've seen her since John's dad and mom, my brother and my sister-in-law got married, which would have been 20-some years, like 21 years ago. So she's like, hey, Drew, what's up? So I'm just sitting there. I'm talking. She's talking to John. She hugs him. I'm doing context clues. Her man comes up.
Right.
How you been? I've been good. We just moved back. Y'all were in California. Yes, we were. I've been out there. I used to work out there. Yada, yada, yada. I loved the north part of the state. I was like, that's actually my favorite part of California, too. I love LA, but like, it's dry. I like the ocean, but not that much. I love the trees, the forest. And he's like, yeah, that part of Oregon. I'm like, dude, that's my favorite part of the country, and just in terms of how the outdoors look. And he goes, and he said it like he was talking about bears.
Right.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, a lot of liberals out there, but it's so pretty. Nefcho almost lost his mind laughing.
Yeah. Right.
And I'm having to look at him the way they're looking at him, like, what in the world is wrong with you? I'm having to look at him like, I know what's wrong with you, but what in the world is wrong with you?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that kind of got me like paying attention more. There is an assumption here that I don't think used to exist. We talked about how like people used to not talk about politics or care. The hell with all of them kind of used to be the line.
Right.
Everyone here just assumes if you live here, you're super right wing.
Of course.
It's like as much as they do Christian, as freely as they reference Jesus, they now reference right wingism. It's become the religion intertwined.
I mean,
culture, I guess
you could, push back on this for sure, but I've kind of thought that like they always sort of had that assumption and everybody around them believed the same things that they believed, and then are shocked to find out that they didn't. But now they are much more vocal about all of it. Like what Corey said earlier about being at that party and it's literally all they talk about. They did not used to be that way. I don't care what nobody says. They did not used to be that way. But like,
granted, there weren't memes, but still.
Right. I don't know if they all thought everybody was Republican, because I just feel like there were known Democrats.
Yeah, they didn't give a shit.
But maybe you're right.
Dude, I had a chick.
It just was. I've just been observing.
I know the Jesus part has always been there because I had like
100%.
Yes.
Dude, I'm agreeing
right.
with that 100%. I'm saying that now you can add. So as part of the cultural, that's a culture thing of like. I think if you were brown and you were in certain countries, people would just be like, just assume you're Muslim. If you were in Israel, people just assume you're Jewish. People in the South and the small towns just assume you're Christian. They now just assume you're Republican too.
For sure.
Right.
Without thinking about it. It's not an active assumption. It is a benign subconscious assumption.
Dude, what's crazy is like there's still people around here who know me. Like they know that I'm a comedian. Like they know that. And some of them still assume it about me. Like this girl I saw.
He said that. That's what just happened. And he knows I've been in California. Yeah. So they know from like my mom or whatever on Facebook, but they don't, they don't know enough, clearly.
Right. Well, these people, so I ran into this girl not long ago, and I'm in the gas station, and did I tell this story about
this girl who thinks you're Chinese?
No. I haven't told this story. So I run into this girl who I graduated with a brother. I know who she is. I hadn't seen her in a long time.
Older or younger?
Younger. I sort of make eye contact. I'm like, oh, she don't know who I am or whatever. Anyways, I'm someone over and she like kind of cuts in front of me. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get to the, water. Whatever. I was like, she definitely don't know who I am. She sits up and looks at me and she goes, hey, will you tie my shoe? I don't feel like bending down. So I'm like, oh, she does remember me and she clearly thinks we're more friendly than we are, but hey, whatever. So I go and I tie her shoe or whatever. And I look up and she goes, hi, and tells me her name. And I go, yeah, I'm Corey. And she goes, oh my God, you're Corey Forrester. And I was like, yeah, who'd you think I was? She goes, I'll be honest with you. And she kind of looks up at me and she goes, I thought you were homeless. I'm wearing sweatpants and a sweatshirt. And so I'm internalizing this and I didn't say it out loud, but I'm like, I didn't say it out loud, but I'm like, so you just wanted a homeless dude to tie your fucking shoe,
Why?
And I go, wait a minute, homeless? She goes, well, look at how you're dressed. I'm wearing, listen, hold on now. This is where it gets real good. I'm wearing a sweatshirt and sweatpants. I go, yeah. She's wearing a sweatshirt and sweatpants, right? And I go, I'm wearing the same shit as you. And then she goes,
hers say juicy across the butt.
Yeah, right, exactly. Well, here's where I know she knows my fucking deal. You know what I mean? She goes, yeah, but like, you're like famous. You're like kind of famous. And I was like, no, I'm not. She goes, yeah, but you're famous. You should be dressing different, right? So when she says that, it clearly shows that she knows that I'm a comedian who has had a modicum of success, right? There's no other reason for her to say that. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, yeah, how's your brother, whatever. And she ignores all that and she goes, so Trump, huh? Trump. And I was like, what about him? And she goes, voting for him, right? And I was like, are you shitting me right now? Because again, she knows who I am. And I go, no. And she goes, what? Are you serious? And I go, what? I was like, dude, fuck that. She's like, why ain't you voting for Trump? And I was like, we don't have enough time to talk about this at this gas station, but I'm not. And then it hit me. I was like, how the fuck do you know who I am? You know who I am from this town. You know that I've had a little bit of success. I feel like most people would know that success was at least slightly attached to who it is that I am as a person. Then we get up to the fucking the fucking whatever, the cash register, and she's like, she asked the lady behind the cash register, who is, to say this nicely, looks like she's seen better days. She's methed out.
Demonstrably meth-addled?
Yeah, right. And she looks at the lady behind the gas station and she goes, you're voting for Trump, right? And she goes, bitch, I'm a felon. I ain't voting. And I'm like, hell yeah. I'm like, well, that'll shut that down. And she goes, hey, put your shit up here. Like getting to me, she goes, put your shit up here. And I was like, what? She goes, I'm buying his stuff because he's clearly a Biden supporter. And so he needs it. You know what I mean? And I was like, no, don't. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And then I was like, this bitch made me tie her shoe. I was like, all right. And I grabbed some other shit and I threw it the fuck up there and made her pay for it or whatever. Then, so that happens. It's like, you know who I am, but yet you still think, like, I don't know if in her mind, she's like, what you're doing's a bit. Like, that's a bit. You're really voting for Trump. And then the other day, someone who knows all of this about me, was like, so where are you going to church now? And I was like, oh, I don't go to church. And like, dude, like the shock on their face that I don't go to church was crazy. And I'm like, am I not being vocal enough about how much y'all don't hit for me? Because it seems like I'm not.
Yeah, I would definitely think in a town like Chickamauga that would all be, but maybe it's like they know it's like, oh yeah, he's a town queer, but it's like even in their minds, even the town queer still goes to church somewhere. Right. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They still
he's Presbyterian now.
Yeah.
Right.
But Catholic. Okay, Drew, I wasn't there. I didn't hear this actual lady chick say any of this stuff.
I'm with
you. Between the shoes to start with, then
she's
the homeless part and the Trump part and her. That's what I was about to say. That's what I was all that together. I think she was like purposefully trolling
like
or
trolling
fucking with
you
the whole time. That's
yeah, maybe. Amber thought she was trying to fuck me.
I just don't know.
She might have been flirting with you or whatever at first, or as part of it too, because that was sort of the first thing too with the shoe tie. But like the way that all played out, it sounded like it. But it also kind of sounds like she thought you knew.
She's not smart enough to have planned the shoe tying and, oh my God, I didn't know who you were. After that, maybe she's trolling.
Right.
But that part, no, she genuinely didn't know who I was. Now, granted, dude, she hadn't seen me in a long time.
And the homeless thing sounded like when you make a joke when you're feeling defensive.
Right.
Who did you think I was? Oh, some homeless guy. Look at you.
She said it with like a lot of sincerity. Like, I really thought you were homeless. And again, I was like, so... You saw a homeless person and you were like, I bet he'll tie my shoe because I don't feel like that.
And are the two things related? Even if in that moment she didn't know you were who you are, even if that's true, is that kind of related? Meaning like she's like trying to subjugate or humiliate a homeless person? Like, I'll make this homeless person like do this for me just because they're like, you know, bugs and they exist.
What else would it be? You know what I mean? She could have tied her fucking shoes.
You know, like they're totally worthless. I can at least make them fucking, you know, tie my shoes for me because that's the place that they belong is kneeling before me or whatever. Then she realized it was you. And then the rest of it was a different version of that same kind of mentality. Maybe. Right.
Dude, you just cross paths with potentially an insane, like that could have gone so much wilder potentially.
Yeah.
In another lifetime, if she was hitting on you, you could be dead right now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Because in another lifetime, I know what I'd have done. And I know exactly what I'd have done.
Yeah.
I know exactly what I'd have done.
And then you end up getting drugs and fentanyl. Fentanyl them titties in your mouth.
Right. That's right.
So Drew said something earlier. He said the guy said like he was describing bears. Y'all know about the great bear debate?
I heard about it today.
Yeah. So for people that don't know, I'm sure everybody does. It started on TikTok and spread like wildfire around all the recesses of the internet. Started with women asking other women or women like answering a prompt on TikTok. If you're walking alone in the woods, would you rather encounter a man or a bear? Either of which you don't know, like a strange man or a strange, like, like people know bears.
Oh,
like,
what's that? Hey, Greg, what up, cuz?
What's up, Pooh? Pooh in the gang out here. What's up? I know you got that honey on you. Yeah. Looking good. Shirt with no pants on. I like it. Yeah. Right. So anyway, yes, but a strange man or a bear. And like, I guess pretty much almost universally across the board, they were saying bear, and then dudes got in their feelings about it initially. And then it just the discourse swirled around it from there. But anyway, dudes, I just wonder what y'all thought about that.
Dudes, a lot of dudes seem to prove the women right in that they should encounter the bear because like, what I think is like most women who said, I'd rather encounter a bear they're being funny. Like they obviously know a bear. I'm saying most of them, not all of them.
I don't think that's true based upon what I watched.
Okay. But there was at least some of them who were like, oh, I'll tell you what, I'd rather encounter a bear. But if you really put them in that situation and they could turn the bear really quickly into a man, they'd probably shit their pants and go, I'll take the dude. But the point still is like, I get what they're saying. It's like, yeah, people say they're like, well, you're actually more than likely to get attacked by a man than a bear. Counterpoint, that's because you don't go around fucking bears. You know what I'm saying? But like all the dude's response was like, some of them, these neckbeard motherfuckers was like terrifying. And I was like, dude, hell, I'd choose the bear.
I mean, this is to nerdy and granular, I guess, but like, I think but bear, you said, you know, whatever you said about bears be different, obviously. And like black bears is like almost harmless to people. They're like real skittish. They're afraid of people. Brown bears, it can go either way. And like polar bears will straight fuck your shit up. And like, if it was specifying, if this was only for Alaskan women and it was specifying polar bears or whatever.
Now, would you also,
bear up,
if you do that, do you have to specify the men too? You know, white men, black men, brown men.
Right. Yeah. But like, and then I saw dudes saying, hell, I'd rather run into a bear or whatever. And I mean, I don't feel that way. I get how women feel that way. Don't get me wrong. But like as a dude, because I don't want to run into a bear. I mean,
bear don't hit.
As a dude, if you're talking about like a hiking trail, obviously cross paths with another dude. Yeah, if you're talking about if you're talking about deep middle of nowhere, I get to a certain extent, like the way your spine tingles if you're like, man, there ain't supposed to be nobody else out here.
Right.
Yes.
And like I'm smarter than a bear.
Is it a person
Humans
I know?
are more deadly. No, it's a stranger in both.
Okay, well, I was going to say if it's a person I know who will talk to me, I'll
give you the bear.
Yeah, 100%.
Especially if the bear will talk to me.
Yeah,
I saw, so I heard about it or whatever, and then was like whatever, and then it came across my feed again, and I saw, and I don't know if this is what started it, but somebody asking women the question, and I saw them process it. Like, excuse me, may I ask you a question? Blah, 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 blah. And I saw women go, okay, some bears won't bother you, right? As long as you leave them alone. And the person was like, yeah, some. And they're like, yeah, it's just do bear.
Yeah.
So, like, I didn't feel like it was them doing a bit. I felt like it was them going, oh, yeah, I think bear. Right. And, like, moving on. And then the internet made it, a thing.
Because if you can initially get away from the bear won't like try to hunt you down and shit. He'll be off with it. But a dude, he'll be like, I'm fucking coming to get your ass. So like, yeah.
Right. And it's like, I know, I'm sure we've all experienced, I'm sure every man has experienced this and, because women have experienced far worse. But like, I've had it happen to me where like a woman was clear. Like, remember,
I experience it every day.
The lady I bought my Ford Explorer I used to have years ago. I bought it used off this lady, a single woman. She owned this Ford Explorer. It was in good shape. I saw it on Craigslist. She wanted to meet up, very public place. Of course, why would I want to meet anywhere else other than a public place? But like, she wouldn't do it unless she had to like schedule it to make sure that someone else was with her. Like she wouldn't. And I even tried to be like, well, I've got, a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old. They'll probably be with me. Like I tried to put that out there to make, but she just like,
they won't be mine, but I'll have them by then.
Right. Well, yeah, sure. But like but you could just tell she was like, I'm not going to be alone around this dude. And then even just recently, like I was in a hotel I was staying at, got into a elevator and there was a lady by herself and she was like walking up to the elevator. So I held the door. Yeah. And she like, wouldn't get in. And then as the door closed, I saw her pushing the button to like get an elevator or whatever. And so when stuff like that happens, I cannot help but my knee-jerk reaction is just like, what the fuck? God damn it. I don't rape. I don't be rape. I would never rape. Come on now. Like I'm a sweetheart. Like I think that, but then I have to think like, but they don't know that. And
Ted Bundy looks like a sweetheart.
A lot of dudes do be raped. Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So,
dudes
I get it.
Dude, every day, literally every day when I'm walking in the park, it's that Mulaney bit. Like every fucking day. I'm not kidding. Every day that happens to me. Now,
I hate that so much when that happens. It's like, because it's like, what do? You know what I mean? It's like, I know that, you accidentally fall in behind a woman walking by herself.
I turn around. And then I'm like, but then I swear, every time I turn around, I'm like, I bet she thinks I'm doubling back. You know what I mean? Like, I bet she thinks I'm doubling back. Now, like, and the thing is, like, now I've been walking in the park 7 days a week for like 3 fucking years. There's a lot of women who like, they know, like I see them often now. So at first I was like, so it's not as weird when I see one I know. And I'm like, I bet those women are even scarier because they're like, he knows my patterns. You know what I mean? He's been out here every fucking day. And like, I always like, I keep my headphones in and I just avoid eye contact. And it's just like, how you doing? Whatever. But like, I feel, again, as awkward as I feel, I'm like, they have to be fucking terrified. Cause I like to think I don't look harmless, but I am a dude in the woods,
Right. Yeah.
I think you said that backwards. That was
He did. You said, I like to
to
think I don't look harmless. Right. Which is, which is like, that's like, I have to think I look like I could, kill somebody or whip somebody's ass.
Sometimes.
But I wouldn't.
It would offend me if a woman, like, verbally was like, "Oh, I'm glad to run into you. You look like you couldn't harm a fly." That would piss me off.
One time I was walking through the parking lot of a grocery store with like bags in my arms, and I had like my keys on like my finger or something like that. And I'm fucking shuffling through there, and I dropped the key off my finger, and as soon as I drop it, I went like, like at myself, like, God damn it. But I didn't say God damn it. I just went like, like, cause I was just having that kind of day, like, fuck everything, fuck, but the only sound I made was, and this lady like yelped beside me, who I didn't even see. She was like 3 feet away from me, leaning into her car, like fucking moving shit around or whatever, and I didn't even know she was there. And I mean, she was terrified, but I mean, again, I get it. It sounds like I literally growled, not at her, but to her. It seemed like I growled at her. So
being a woman, I know it.
Yeah.
All right.
No.
I got to tell 2 stories. The first one, y'all tell me what you think. I was hiking. There's this park in North Knoxville. It was when I was living over in Knoxville, the time in between New York and LA. And I would go there in the afternoons almost every day. And at the top is where that radio station is. You might have been there once or twice, Trae. That one that was way up on the hill in North Knox. I've been there to do press interviews a few times.
Oh, yeah. I went. Yeah, I remember that radio.
So
place.
if you go right there's the radio station. If you go left, there's a park up there at the top, and there's a lot of people that park up there. It is a known hot spot for hot gay action.
I was about to say gay sex. Yeah.
It is, in fact, where that super anti-gay senator got arrested in a sweep. So, and then not charged and released. So, I'm at the bottom. When it comes to hot gay sex, I'm a bottom.
Mm-hmm.
That's it's not that long of a walk, but the way the roads work, it's almost like that's a different part of town. I don't really know how to explain it, but like the radio station is across a railroad track and then up the hill. So like I didn't even realize in my head that I was hiking in the same park. There's only one reason that's relevant to the story, which I will get to. I'm walking, and then there's a woman kind of coming down the path. And when you get on the path, it's a bike trail. So there's a few different trails in the middle where you can go different ways. And I see her coming at me, and I see her look at me, and then it's like, I know what she's thinking, and I don't know what to do. I almost just turned around and left.
Right.
And then I was like,
just go, hey, girl.
Yeah. Then do I wave? Like, I'm not.
Right.
Do I try to figure out what path to take? There's only one way to do that, though. Watch her.
Yeah.
Carefully.
Yeah.
And then plot out her path.
Yeah. Stand there like that. Yeah.
So I'm like, fuck it. Head down.
Right.
Won't look at her.
Always.
Move slowly. Just kind of keep hiking, right?
Mm-hmm.
She comes right for me. So much so that I was so tense about not like disturbing her that when she's just right in front of me all of a sudden, it scared the fuck out of me. And she's like the short, like petite, like 40-year-old woman. And she goes, "Excuse me, do you know where the nearest gas station is?" And I go, well, I'd have to think about it. There's a Shell off Broadway in Chickamauga. I think I start to explain. I'm looking at her. She has super slutty clothes on. Every woman listening right now is going to call me ridiculous for what I'm about to say, especially in the context of this conversation where women just want to be left alone. In retrospect, I now fully believe in my heart that this woman was trying to enact some weird wood sex anonymous fantasy.
It'd be so funny if she assaulted you after all that.
Her tits were so out, and that doesn't mean she wanted to fuck. I know that, everybody, but the whole scene of
she wasn't scared of you.
Well, I tried very much to like not be near her. She got right in my face, and then when she said that, and I was like, "Oh, I think it's over here," she kind of went like she looked up at me, and she was like,
"This is like a porn scenario.
Yeah, this is Penthouse.
You just all walk through the woods and
Trae,
a like scantily clad sluter comes up to you and is like,
yes. So porn scenario, Trae, that it was like 3 hours later that all this went like this in my brain.
I know what you did.
Went back to it. I was like, God, that was so weird. And man, like her tits were out.
Yeah.
Was she hiking with her tits out? Man, why'd she hang? You know, the only other thing I could think is like she needed help of some sort, and she thought this is the only way a man will help me. But then, like, why didn't she tell me, hey, there's a fucking dude back here or whatever? Dude,
she could have been some kind of wood siren, succubus spirit lady, you know, who was like trying to Jolene you. You know what I mean? Like, you know, that
ruined my life. It would be great.
You know that the fan theory about Jolene that she's like a malevolent spirit who's taking these men's souls or whatever.
Maybe dude, I met Jolene.
Yeah. Maybe
I met her trashier sister.
You were obviously with Andy at this time, correct?
Oh, and as a person, yes.
Yeah.
I thought you meant in the woods.
No. I meant like were y'all together?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
It was. This is just incidental. The rockiest time of our relationship.
Right.
Good on you, buddy.
At all suggesting that if I'd have realized what was going down, I would have changed anything about
Lord
that
was
scenario.
testing
So
you.
I was about to say God tested you, boy. Woo.
It's fun. It's like he doesn't go anywhere else but the woods. It's like, well, I guess I'm going to have to put the whore in the woods. If we want this trial to go down.
God and the devil had their bet about me, but it was that I was too stupid to sin.
Yeah, right.
The devil was like, nah, he'll figure it out. And God was like, you don't get it. He's dumb as fuck, dude.
You can put her tits right out. I guarantee you he won't get it.
Another report. This is a Morgan kind of report from today. And you were talking about that lady meeting you, even the, you know, asking you, 2 and 3-year-old. I wanted to make the joke. The 3-year-olds know how to tie knots. My dad was, I was like, oh, I'm selling my Highlander. I think Andy wants a RAV4. And he's like, oh, those are good cars. And then he just, of course, just immediately like, I went with Peanut. He picked his up. It was 07. We went down there to Chattanooga. Bought it off some Mexican boy.
Mm-hmm.
And he met him, you know, in a parking lot. I said, Peanut, what kind of gun you taking? He said, what? I said,
right.
You're going down there to buy a $7,000 car. You're going to have the cash on you.
Right.
Well, what are we doing here? And I was like, yeah, where'd you meet him at? And he goes, the parking lot of a Bass Pro Shop. And I said, well, I'm sure a lot of people had guns on them. And he goes, I did.
Right.
I had it in my hoodie pocket with my hand on it the whole time. And he goes, and I bet that little Mexican boy had his on him and his hand on it the whole time, just in case I was trying to get weird with something. And you know what? We was both safe for it.
Right.
Man.
Yeah. That's the American way. Yeah.
I just realized how easy it'd be to kill my ass.
I mean, I think about that all the time.
But how easy I'd be to get killed.
Not me, but I mean, also you. Yeah. I mean, we've talked about it before, how, but not just poisoning or whatever. It's like, you know, I'll think every now and then, it's like my whereabouts are publicized by me all the time.
Yeah.
I would be the easiest person to murder on this earth, I believe.
Yeah.
Like, or, you know,
I genuinely think I'm in the top half.
Of easy to get murdered?
No.
Oh, yeah. I think you're fine.
Maybe top 20%. It's hard to murder me. There are plenty of people who can physically overpower me. That's why I'm not putting myself in the top 2. But, like, I'm very anxious. I'm ornery as fuck. If I start to feel it's all fight or flight, it's all. Speaking of flying, I am about to shit myself. I really need to go. So we got like 8 minutes left. You guys can roll without me. I'm sorry. Corey, can I hang up and it not fuck up the
I got you.
stream?
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Just
cool. I love you guys. Free.
See you, buddy.
I think Drew has to be right because he would have been murdered by now. You know, if
it was easy to murder.
If it was easy to murder,
Well, I'm also like, I'm so, you know, I've made enemies, right?
Yeah.
Not purposefully, but there's a lot of people for whom I do not hit, people who are probably unhinged and insane. I'm utterly oblivious, like that Patton Oswalt bit about, it's like can't see murder when it's 3 feet from his face or whatever. Like I'm one of those people. Yeah, right. Like I just don't pick up on shit, like, you know, because I'm in my own world all the time or whatever the case may be. Also, it's like I'm so inclined to like be immediately nice to a person. Do you know what I mean?
Lie. Yeah.
Like if someone comes up fucking looking all wild eyed and shit like that, I'll be like, I better get my wallet out and probably want some change. You know what I mean? Something like that. Like I don't want to upset him.
I'll buy your mixtape. God damn it.
And then I just get shot smooth to death in front of everybody or whatever.
I frighten easy and I am a little neurotic. So maybe I might, if there was true danger, run, but then not like I can run fast, but also it's just like, like I think about that all the time. It's like, dude, everybody knows where I fucking be on this earth. You know what I mean? And like, they could just, but it's really the poisoning part would be
the poisoning, bro. Like it's nothing. Anybody bring me anything that looks like it hits to eat at a show or whatever, I'm gonna eat it, or like send me a drink on stage, like I'm gonna drink it, like no questions asked. Looks like it hits. I mean, you take pills off the floor.
Speaking
poison yourself.
Speaking of hits to eat, where have you been lately, and where are you about to be? Because I want to know what you've been going in on, because I want to live vicariously through you. Because I'm on like a cholesterol free fucking shit right now, so I kind of need to watch you eat.
I'm in a big spell of not many shows, but that's about to end like next weekend, and then it's like hot and heavy again. The last like run I had was Vancouver and Seattle. What did in Seattle, I went to a Cambodian place and got these like, noodles, Cambodian noodles that was fucking fire. They also, though, they had an appetizer I was very intrigued by. They had stuffed chicken wings. So it's like a chicken wing. They shoved a bunch of like a Cambodian mess up in.
Like a turducken, but
meat, but also some kind of grain and like a lot of Cambodian spices, I guess. And it was like, and little bitty tiny, like what are those rice noodles, like the noodles that sort of look like glass.
Ricini, something, fuck. Yeah, I know what they are, and they hit for me.
But it
Asia
was like
grits.
Chicken wing stuff with that. And it was like, that part was a disappointment, but the noodles were insane. And in Vancouver, I got in with no time to spare before the show, and I just had to eat like a sandwich from from downstairs or whatever. But then afterwards, Canadians might hear this and scoff at this. I don't know, but
they don't.
Have you ever heard of Japan dogs? It's like Japan dogs, but there's no N in it. It's all one word. So I mean, I don't know how to say this. Japa dogs.
Yeah, right.
Anyway,
like Asian hot dogs.
Right. Yes. So when I pulled up, they had a cart outside the hotel, and maybe I'm making this up, but when I saw that in my head, I was like, I've heard of that. That's like a thing. That's a thing they have. I want to try that. Went over there. They didn't take American Express. That's when I had to eat the sandwich. After the show, though, they opened late, and I got like 3 Asian hot dogs, with all this wild shit on it, and some poutine, of course. So I was in Canada, and that smashed. And then, and that's the last trip I've been on recently. But I'm going to Oklahoma City soon, so it'll be barbecue and whatnot. And but yeah, you asked the question at an inopportune time, because I haven't been. And even at home, I've been almost exclusively cooking or trying to, because we bought this house, and it's like I'm terrified all the time of money. I mean,
right. Yeah. No,
we wouldn't have bought it if we couldn't afford it. But at the same time, I'm just, because I'm the way I am. It's like, dude, we're eating rice and beans and shit over here. I mean,
I'm not that way like you are. However, we're in a similar boat, which is Amber has just retired. And if we weren't doing well enough, then she wouldn't have retired. However, since she's retired, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna meal prep.
Gotta take it easy. Right. Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. So I ain't been going in recently like I do for those reasons, but fret not. It'll come back. It's just right around the corner. Speaking of all that, like I said, Oklahoma City's up next, the 13th through the 16th, I think, or somewhere around it. No, 16th through the 18th, I believe. And then Buffalo and Pittsburgh and a bunch of other places after that. Go TraeCrowder.com. Check it out. Make it hit.
Hell yeah. Also, go to bonuscorey.com. That's where I do all my extra stuff. I appreciate all the people who upgraded from a free subscriber to a paid subscriber this week. That super hits, especially because, like I said, my wife retired. But other than that, man, hey, check out Puttin On Airs. That is our other podcast wherein we talk about fancy shit. I think that you would really, really enjoy it. This week I will be concluding my speak whatever the fuck on what was I talking about? Lloyd's of London. Yeah, yeah, Lloyd's of London, the very insane insurance place from London.
We'll also have to look at the wildest looks and freshest fits from this year's Met Gala, which is tonight, I think. So
yes, I forgot we did a whole Met Gala special last year. Yeah, we get to do
last year we did like the background and stuff. I figure this year we'll just go through a slideshow of the whatever, and because they're gonna get wild as hell.
Oh yeah,
they always do.
And they have to one up themselves every year.
Right.
Like somebody's eventually gonna literally be wearing an actual duck. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna happen. Well, yeah, and check that out wherever you get your podcast or at watchpoa.com. Also, thank you all for listening to the WellRED Show. We'd love to stick around longer, but we got to go. Tune in next week if you got nothing to do. Thank you. God bless you. Good night and skew. Also buy our book, Skew.
Fart.